Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, where we introduce you to your future favorite artists today. And being dubbed the 30 for 30 for independent music and independent artists, not only do we invest in the artist playlist, we invest in the artists themselves, because through the intellectual property that the artist brings, not only do you get good music, but you get the truth. You don't have to believe in the truth. It is what it is. And today we have somebody whose truth is more than just bars. When you think hip hop, you think rhyming. Since hip hop is a culture, today we wanted to bring the eloquence, the elegance, and the soulful song of the hip hop culture to you. Please introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, everyone. I am Neika Simone. Thank you for listening today. How's everyone doing?
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And I'm not big on R&B. This doesn't talk to my soul.
Okay.
But when I heard your song and your music, I searched you out. Because I said, you know what? This is different.
Oh, wow.
And it's something that people who love music would appreciate. So I hope this is one of the best interviews you ever have, for one. And two, I wanted to show you how thankful I am that you made your music. So let's start from the beginning. Usually people ask, when did you start singing and all that? Not here. My first question is, when did music first touch your soul and then come out of your spirit?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. Let me think for a second. Wow. I think I would say that music began to really touch my soul probably when I was in high school. I was a very shy student and teenager. I enjoy playing the piano, and I'm a classically trained pianist. So I enjoy playing the piano, and I loved classical music, and I love music in general. But I would say around 10th, 11th grade, music really just became a thing where I learned how to express everything through my instruments, whether it was through the piano or through my voice. And any sadness, any happiness, anything that I felt would come out through that either instrument. So it would definitely be that time period that I began to really, really learn the power of music and how it could and did affect my life.
Awesome. You see, in our community with our people, we get TV to come into our lives in three different ways: the radio, the television, the church. In what order? Television, radio, and church. What order did music play in exposing itself to you in your life between those three mediums?
Mm-hmm. I would say, they're almost one and the same. In my home, my parents were, especially my mother, was a huge gospel music fan. It was typical on Saturday mornings for my mother to wake up early in the morning and put on her gospel music and sing at the top of her lungs and clean the house. So that was what I was really accustomed to. But at the same time, I would go to my grandparents' house when my parents were working, and I would be around my older cousins, and they would turn on the radio, and I got to hear all the other music there. So I got radio and I got church kind of all at the same time. So both very influential in shaping what I at least listened to.
Yeah, that's why I think it's very important for us to talk, because when we speak with other creatives or people who are creative, you get a new dynamic to life that maybe you have never experienced. You know, like my parents didn't play music in the house. So my music education came from MTV. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when MTV was very racist and yeah. And I remember going to my grandmother's house, and that's when we heard gospel music because she sung in the choir. And that's the first lesson of music that I learned was music is not only expressive, it's also therapeutic. What was the first story music ever told you that made you want to sing?
That's another big question. When did I want to sing? What is the story about that? I remember being a teenager, again, another teenager story. And as I mentioned, my mother was a huge a huge gospel music fan. And at that time, I won't say many places, but in our area, we would have gospel music workshops where they would bring in different gospel music artists to come in and do a weekend workshop. And then, you'd have a concert at the end of the weekend, that Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. So I remember there was one of the last workshops that I participated in. There was an artist from Charlotte who came to our church. And he had an original song that he'd written, and he wanted me to sing it as, to do the lead for the solo and for the song. And I was scared to death. I was scared to death because, again, me being such a timid, kind of shy kid at that time, teenager, and because I really, really was. But as I learned that song and as I sang that song, it really it's almost like it did something to me that made me go and made me really think like, wow, this is something that I can do. And I had been in chorus and done all the singing in school and whatnot, but nothing to that point had really turned that light bulb on like that moment did for me.
Amazing. You already gave it away. You from the South.
I am.
So everybody out there, if you don't know anything about the South, church is necessary in your life.
Every Sunday.
That's right. People walked to church, people rode to church, and after church, people talked about church on Sunday. Listen, Friday was high school sports. Saturday was play and get ready for church. Sunday was church, and Monday was the day after church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the South and that Southern cooking, you know what I'm saying? Hospitality. Yeah. Salute. You said something very interesting though that I wanna kind of pick on. But that was dope. The gospel concert and the gospel workshops. See, music is so integral within our community that we testify by music. We clean the house by music. We celebrate our joy and our pain through music. Has there ever been a time where you did not want music around because you really needed to deal with yourself in life at all?
For sure. There was a stretch of time. I just went through one thing after another. I had gone through a divorce in my late 20s. And after I got through that, I found out that I had endometriosis, and it caused a lot of severe pain. And I found out briefly after that I had to have a major surgery, and that was like the first major surgery in my life. And so, but at that same time, I had lost my brother, like maybe 3 or 4 months prior to that time. And he's my only sibling. He was my only sibling. So I went through personal things and, losing my brother. And it was just dealing with endometriosis and dealing with life and trying to catch my breath, so to speak. And so I still listened to music. I still sang to an extent, but everything that I had done prior to that period of time came to a screeching halt. And especially when my brother passed away, I could not sing. It was just no way I could bring myself to do it. It did take some time for me to get to a better place where I could feel as though I could sing, because literally every time I opened my mouth, tears were. So, it took some time, but, thankfully, things changed and I was able to move forward.
Help me understand, what is endometriosis?
Okay, so endometriosis is, how do I explain it? It is a disease that can attack the reproductive system for a woman, and it's extremely painful. During the time that research had been done, but not to the extent that it has been done now. Like now, it's there's lots more, but that wasn't the case at that time. There were not many options, and eventually, it led me to the point where I was unable to have children. So, and that's okay. That was also one of the things that I also had to deal with during that time period as well, because it was just, again, one thing after another, after another, after another. So it can be a very tough thing to deal with, very life altering for sure.
Thank God that you're able to tell your story, because I've met people and I know people who are going through not that, but that sort of dynamic in their lives. A lot of people don't understand that, not to touch on it again, that certain pains resonate with different people in certain ways. Why do you think pain is so relative when it comes to music?
Oh, because we all have it. I mean, it's whether it's a relationship, whether it's a situation, whatever it may be, we all have and experience pain in some shape, form, or fashion. There is just no escaping it. Life has its highs and it has its lows, and there's just no way around it. That's just part of living and part of life.
I want to ask you this then. People don't really sing from their pain, though. They sing from their mind. You know how people say some singers sound nasal? They don't sing from their diaphragm. They sing from their nose. Mm-hmm. What's the difference from singing from your head and singing from your spirit to you?
Oh, you can feel when a person sings from their spirit. I mean, it's just something about that. Just being able to feel every note, feel every word, and being able to let every word rest on your ears and marinate in your soul. There's just something about that. Like when you hear a good song and you're able to, it's almost like I remember being in college and I think about being in my dorm room and having the lights off and listening to music as I would go to sleep, and like those songs would just like speak to me at times, just some of that great music. So that's the power of that for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. We're speaking with Neika Simone right now. Make sure if you're on YouTube, you hit the like, subscribe, share button, and you follow the family. Notification bell especially. But if you're on the DSPs, make sure you give us a 5-star review and follow this podcast, and make sure you follow her, because her EP, Beautiful Moments? Beautiful Moments is out right now. And I wanted to make sure I got the name right, because we're about to delve into her music. First question though, what's more important as an instrument? Your imagination, mind, or your vocals?
That's a good question too. That's a hard one. I'm a person who believes that you don't have to have like the most magnificent voice in the world. If you have a song that is a really good song that really touches people, because there is so much music out here that has been done over the years that that touches people, and and you've heard, and I'm sure you've heard people remake those songs over the years, but nothing is like that original. That original stands the test of time. So I think it just comes down to like that thought process. That's really what it comes down to. Essentially, you do have to have some talent, but a good song can't be beat.
I agree. Shout out to the Recap with the Goodfellas podcast, because we actually talked about that on the last show. We talked about remakes that are better than the originals, And as a singer, I want to know what actually entices you to sing. Is it the ballads? Is it the runs? Is it the power in the voice? Or is it the introspection from the soul of the?
For me, it's the words, the introspection. I like to write songs about things that I've experienced. And I would say with that the songs really resonate with me. I write basically what I feel. So I want songs that, for me, I write from that perspective, and I want my music to resonate with people in that way.
And that's why I jump off with R&B, because a lot of it doesn't speak to my heart. But when there's a song that I can understand, I jump all into it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You have a song called Beautiful Moments. I think that was my favorite song off the EP. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, her EP is out right now, Beautiful Moments. I bought my copy, get yours. All right, so Beautiful Moments is a song that I think the music and your voice both told the same story. So it was a marriage of harmony. How do you find your harmony in your message and in your words?
It's part of the writing process. So I have a melody that may come to mind first. And then, the lyrics come with it. And once I lay it all down, then it's like I get so many musical ideas. And sometimes I get so many musical ideas that I have to then pare them down because I want to do too many things. But that is my process. It's being able to have an idea, put it down, and then really allow my mind to just open up like a flower blooms and see what comes from that.
The most beautiful part of the flower is what we take for granted. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
We always talk about the petals and the color, but we forget about the stem and the violence that it goes through to produce that beauty. We forget about the roots that have to be planted firmly so that that beauty can be structured and not blown away in the wind. Such as talent. How do you root yourself so that the beauty of your message is not lost in just your beautiful voice?
I think it really comes down to just being who I am authentically. I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to be anybody other than me. I don't want to put on false airs. And I don't want to put on false airs in my music. I want to be authentic. I think people can relate to that and they can feel that. So that's very important to me.
That's why the song Million Pieces stands out so much. That's a song about being left, leaving, lost, putting yourself back together. I think one of the most strongest lyrics I remember from my childhood was, "Don't you forget about me." He said, "Don't let them take us apart. I'll put us back together at heart." He was talking about the broken heart and how when it's together, you feel connected with someone. A lot of people's connection seems to be lost, and we deal with our pain as a musical therapy that gets us through the day. What did Million Pieces do for you, and what did you want the listener to get from the song?
Well, for one thing, I wanted my listeners to know that that many people have been in the same situation as that is portrayed in the song. And it's a really difficult choice to make. Do you stay or do you go? When you're placed in that type of situation where a person has broken your trust, that very trust that, may have taken so long to establish. So for me, I look at people and I say, that's your personal choice. You have to decide that. And it's not so easy. Some people say, well, I can just wipe my hands and just walk away. But for some others, it's, for many people, it's not quite that easy. You've got finances all interwoven. You may have children, you have, all kinds of things that are all interwoven. You've built this life, you've built dreams, you've built a home, you've built all kinds of things. So how do you just wipe your hands and walk away? So for many people, again, I wanted that song to give them a place to feel as though their emotions and all the things that they had thought about or maybe thinking about was being played for them, that they may be able to relate to and feel and relate to.
The thing I like about your EP is I'm a music head, you know what I'm saying? So the thing about your EP that I really dug was it put me in 4 states of mind. I'm gonna give you each one. You tell me if I'm far off and how it makes you feel, okay? First one, Billie Holiday. What do you think?
I think I can see that. I could definitely see it because I feel like she was very authentic, and to her, to her core, she represented herself well.
Mickey Howard.
Whoa. Oh. That voice. Oh, that voice. Woo! That's what I got to say. Love her. That voice was, yes.
Salute to Mickey Howard.
Yes.
Neika Simone.
That's who I'm named after. So, yes, my mother was very inspired by Neika Simone, and that's how I got my middle name, Simone. So, yes, and I take that as an honor. So,
Million Pieces made me think of her. Mm-hmm. And the last one, Beats by the Pound.
Beats by the Pound.
Welcome to Heritage Hip Hop. So, Beats by the Pound, I don't know what your teenage years were, but let's just say 20, 30 years ago, which you don't look, please. So 20, 30 years ago, No Limit was very big. And Beats by the Pound did their music. And they had a lot of bouncy type beats. And the song My Door is what made me look you up. Because I said, how could you sing to that? And that voice and that bounces, it was an awkward dopeness. That was like, I was like, I want to know who this is. And that's why I searched you out, because My Door was the song that made me go, yo, I even bragged about you to some of my friends who I would love to start their podcast, by the way, because they love R&B music. And I said, yo, I got someone y'all should talk to. Like, she got this song with this No Limit bounce. This is fire. And them, send me the beat. How did My Door come about? And where did you find that sound?
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, this is a story. All right. So for My Door, this was one that I wrote the lyrics and the melody for, but I worked with a Richmond musician by the name of Victor Nelson. And we sang in a band together. We've known each other for a number of years. And so when I started to delve back into music again, he had some production for me, some different songs. And so My Door was one of the songs that were the production for it, the music for it was one of the songs that he had. And so the song was taken to my recording engineer, who's also a phenomenal musician by the name of Hannon Lane. And Hannon loved the song, and he said, "But let's sit together and tweak some things." So we kind of kept some of what Victor had originally produced, and then we added some other things to it and gave it this real funky vibe, and that is how My Door came to be. And I wrote that from the perspective of a person who is on the other side of, coming out of a bad relationship, but who is now on the other side and is positive and happy. And then that joker tries to come back in that door, and you're like, I'm good.
That song put me in the mind of damn Suge Avery with Tim's and box braids, because that bounce is hot. Like, I was thinking, if that's going to be your sound, like if you took that lane, ain't nobody out there like you. It's different. It's superb. I think you made a classic with that song. And
thank you very much.
And the EP is very, very, very well done. I felt cheated with only 4 songs, but I look forward to hearing more.
Thank you. Working on that now. I'm back in the studio, working on some new music. So stay tuned, because more is coming for sure.
I want to ask you this question, because it would be remiss, being the people that I said you remind me of, to not talk about this. R&B, soul music, and hip hop have been the messengers to people's pain, struggle, joy, heartbreak, and even political stances within the world. Who do you sing for, and to what purpose is your music being given?
I would say for me, I sing for, that's a hard one. Well, I'll tell you that it's a hard one. I sing for whomever I'm in front of. If I'm in front of whatever the crowd may be, I want to sing for them. I want them to feel whatever it is that I'm singing. If that's in a church, then I want to uplift, God. If it's in a concert, then I want to uplift those people. I want it to be, whatever I sing, to be felt by those people, whoever it may be. That's so very important to me. As a songwriter, as a singer, that's what it's about. You want people to feel what you put out there.
See, that's where I love the elevation of music, because life is a classroom without walls. Church is the people, not a building. And music is a doctor without needles. How do you heal the soul with your voice? How does your voice heal you with a song?
I would say that a song can touch places that a conversation cannot. I can say, like, writing, well, not even just writing songs, but just listening to music from various artists over the years has really, it's been therapeutic. It's almost like a therapy session without having to pay for therapy, having to go and pay that big bill there. Just being able to listen to that song or those songs and just feel, and feel like it's okay to feel whatever emotions that I may have felt at that moment, for whatever that reason may have been. But to be able to do that is the beauty and the power of music. It's such a healing thing. It's such a personal thing. It's so powerful.
You definitely are one of God's powers put on this planet. So without further ado, please give everybody your social media and let them know where they can contact you, follow you, and get your music.
Okay, thank you. So you can check out my website at www.neikasimone.com, which is NEIKASIMONE.com. I can also be found on Facebook under Neika Simone. I'm found on Instagram at Neika_Simone, and I'm also on Twitter at Neika Simone without a space. So that's how you can find me. Be sure to look me up, and I will definitely be posting and sharing more things with you soon to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, what she did not say is something that Heritage Hip Hop stands for. If you stream her music and you like it, please purchase her music, because streaming platforms are banks. What they are doing is taking the money and giving the artist increments of interest. If this is an album or an EP project that you like or love, please spend the money and show her that you really want her to continue doing such. And in investing in these artists, not only do we guarantee ourselves more music, but we're giving them a thank you to the sound that they have incredibly made to make our lives better. Do you agree?
Yes, for sure. Yes, I want people to hear my music, but yes, please do support. That's such an important thing.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. This has been another great interview and the end of the first part of the interview. Are you ready for the next part?
Yes.
I like it. Now we get to the rapid fire questions, which are not yes, no questions. These are questions that show your integrity, your intelligence, and your depth of knowledge of your art and your craft. Are you ready to go?
All right, let's do it.
Question number 1. What album or song from another artist perfectly describes you?
Ooh. Artist or song or album? Okay. Okay, this is hard. Okay, so rapid fire. I'm gonna go as fast as I can. All right. I don't know that I can narrow it down to one. Can I have more than one? Okay, thank you. All right, so
you can do 3.
I'm gonna go super old school. Okay, like old. Because I'm a really at heart as well. I love jazz. Like I know some people like jazz, but I love jazz. So I love women like Ella Fitzgerald and Nancy Wilson. I love how classy they were, how elegant they were, how dynamic they were as singers, vocalists, and I love how they could handle their business. Even at that time period when when that wasn't necessarily the place or the thing to do or to be. I love all of that. So I just love what they stood for in that time period. So that's what I would say as far as a big influence for me. Okay, so I'll stop there because I'll keep rambling.
Oh, that's dope. Salute to you. You are a classically trained pianist, and the piano is my favorite instrument. But you are a cheat code as well. And I'm gonna ask you this question. Cheat code meaning you have extra skills that the average singer is not having if they don't play instruments. So my question is, how did playing the piano and understanding the notes help you sing better by understanding chords and things of that nature?
Ooh. I would say for me that it really has helped me in developing my songs. Like being able to have having a musical idea in my head and then being able to take it to the piano and to play it. And I may not play it the way that I want it to be played in my recording, but to be able to at least establish what my song, what I want to have, is a really, really great tool to have. I love that. And I love the piano. Like I said, when I was a teenager, that was like my thing to do. That was my solace. Go in there and I could sit there and play for hours. That was my thing. So yes, that is definitely useful.
Hey, salute the instrumentation. What is the last song that made you cry?
Oh, wow. Gosh. Wow. I'm going to, again, go old school. I'm a teacher. I don't know if I mentioned that. I'm a music teacher. So during the time of COVID, last school year, during the time when we were not hybrid, but virtual, I sat with my students and during class, and we were talking about music, because I always talk, I got to talk about my music thing. And we were talking about the power of music and in speaking to different movements and whatnot that have happened through history. So A Change Is Gonna Come is a song that we discussed and talked about. And I was so moved because of the discussions that my students had, and I played the song, and it was just such a moving thing to be able to have a discussion together and to have that power from that song even be relevant today. So
salute, that's dope. We just came out, we're actually in the COVID era of human history now. What's the biggest loss that you suffered, and what is the biggest gain that you had acquired during this era?
As far as loss is concerned, I would say that I feel like there's just the time, and I think that everyone can relate to this, just being able to have that time with family, have that time with friends, that closeness, because everyone had to stay apart, especially initially, because we didn't understand the virus. We didn't know how things were going and all the no vaccines and all that stuff. So time, and you can never get time back. And that's the thing. Time was I would say one of the biggest losses, whether people lost lives or have had long-term illnesses, that kind of thing. But I would say the biggest gain for me on the flip side is that I really had a chance to really sit with my music. I had a chance to sit and really think about what is really important and valuable to me in my life, and to make sure that I expressed that and did things to move forward with my music as much as possible.
I love that answer. I know it's rapid fire, but one thing I will say is everybody who's lost, Most High bless you. And to everybody who's gained, be protective of what you have, because a big responsibility comes with life.
Yes.
We got a couple more questions on the rapid fire. And here's one. How do you like the versus culture that we have with people singing against people, doing their playlists and performing? How do you like it?
I think it's cool. I really do. Especially, looking at all these, I don't want to say old school artists, because they're not really, to me, they're not old school. But, being able to hear people again, I think is phenomenal. I love it. I think it's wonderful. And I think it's such a tribute, because, sometimes people look at musicians and they think that they don't get along, but oftentimes they have a sincere appreciation for each other's gifts and their craft. So I love the versus battles, and I think that it's a great platform. It's a great way to introduce musicians to a newer generation who doesn't know anything about some of these folks. So I think it's great and valuable all the way around.
So if there were two artists that could do a versus that is the embodiment of you, who are the two artists?
Who are the embodiment of me? Oh, wow. Gosh, I don't know. I don't know. That's a hard question. Who are the embodiment of me? The embodiment of me. I would say, I know that there are some folks who may have a similar sound. Oh gosh, her name just left my mind. Jean Baylor, from Jeanne. She is a dynamic jazz artist now. She is doing her thing. She and her husband are phenomenal. So I definitely, I could see that. Let me think if there's anyone else. Ooh. I don't know. That's a hard one. I gotta think. Who else?
Take your time.
Go ahead.
Nobody else? Offhand?
I don't know. That's a hard one. I know that I have a unique sound, so that's why it's really difficult for me to kind of say who would embody me in a sense. Maybe Lettucey in some way. Maybe Lettucey in some ways. Like, I love her.
Big. I didn't think about her.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, love her. Mm-hmm.
When you were in jazz, I thought you picked two people who are like, you know what I'm saying? That's different. That's range. Salute to you for having range and the respect you have for yourself. Wow. I love that.
Thank you.
My next question is, what is the difference between an art and a craft?
Art to me is like the art form itself. Like, whether that's, you're creating music. So the music is the artwork. To me, the craft is the work that it takes in getting that to that, getting things to that point where you're producing that music, because you have to hone your skills to get to that point. So to me, that they're definitely two different things, but the art form is the art is the art itself. And then the craft is what you do to get that music out to your listeners.
So in your opinion, what is the most inspirational craft? Songs made out of pain or songs made out of joy?
Oh, they're both. I would say they are both very, very important. Like when I think about, oh gosh, but that's hard, but you can have a song that's sad. Well, that kind of has some sad lyrics to it, but that feels good and people will jam to it forever. Like I think about Before I Let Go, Frankie Beverly and Mays, and how everybody, that's like the jam, that song comes on and everybody hits the floor, at one time, like, and, but then you've got songs that are so slow and, full of sorrow that really resonate. And sometimes those songs, I feel like, sometimes those songs are songs that are, that touch some people very, very deeply. And some people are like, okay, that's a sad song. I don't really want to deal with that. And they may put that over there kind of thing. They want to compartmentalize and put it over there. But, there are different songs that represent different things. But I would say the joy and the sorrow are both very powerful. And I don't know if I could separate and say that one is more important than the other or elevated over the other.
Okay, I respect that. 3 more questions.
Okay.
What connects the person to the music besides the ears? Is it the mind or is it the heart?
The heart.
Why?
Because I feel that people have to feel the music. And I'm speaking about people who really want to listen to that kind of music. There are people who want to hear songs that are not, sometimes I call them like bubblegum songs. They're just kind of poppy, kind of, and they're fun songs. There's nothing wrong with that. And, but then some people want to hear songs that have a little more meat to them. And, that's where the heart definitely comes into play. So.
How did you like being on Heritage Hip Hop, or would you recommend this platform to any other independent artist?
I have thoroughly enjoyed myself tonight. And I would definitely recommend this to any other artist for sure. I felt very relaxed. I felt like, and I've definitely enjoyed myself. So you have been a great host and a great interviewer here. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. Remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like, subscribe, share button, notification bell, and all that. If you're listening on the DSPs, please give us a 5-star review and follow the podcast. This podcast is always available exclusively on heritagehiphop.com. And let's see, what else can I say that will really sell this? We are the 30 for 30 of independent artists, meaning that we bring you not only their playlist, but their story. We invest in the artists to make our culture great. If we are God's people and our heritage, our culture is hip hop, being God's people and God's culture, God's heritage is hip hop. So celebrate the Most High with the truth, not what the industry gives you, which is fluff and rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? It has been a pleasure sitting with you. And whenever you have a new song or something out, Heritage Hip Hop has open door policy. We're not Billboard Top 100. We don't care about that. We want to bring the people, real people and real music. So whenever you would like to debut something or anything, you can hit me and we will do something to you, right?
Okay. Thank you. Sounds great. I appreciate it. And thank you for giving me this platform today to speak about my music. I really appreciate that.
It is an honor on my side. What are you talking about? I'm happy you gave me the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But the final question I have for the first interview is this one. 500 years from now in the Music Hall of Fame, people are going to look you up and listen to your music. And they're going to push a big old red button and your hologram is going to come out the wall and they're going to hear your discography. But people hear your music 500 years from now, you're going to influence the next generation of ears. My most important and final question is this. What is the legacy that you leave behind that made the world better because you created and expressed your soul through it?
My legacy would be that I would want people to know how important it is to know that they're not alone, that there's people out here who can relate to them and who are there supporting them and loving them. There's music that feeds and soothes the soul. And I hope that I'm a person and that my music would definitely be a supplier of that for the next generation. And that my story would also be a support and relevant as well to them, and just to let them know once again that they are not alone. I feel that that's part of my mission anyway, just to share that. So I want people to know, don't give up, keep fighting. And I hope that my music shares that even 500 years from now, that it says all of those things and more.
Inspiration is not only within the life that you live, inspiration is also in the joy that you express. So whether you're easing the pain like Lisa Fisher or you're telling everybody before you let go and dance, remember, when you give your truth through your art, the craft in which produced it will speak to the generations and thousands of people that come after you. Remember, our culture is built on standing on the shoulders of those who came before us. So to inspire those who come after you, stand strong, stand firm, and be yourself, and let your truth always ring true in and through your talent. Once again, this is Karev at Heritage Hip Hop with Neika Simone, the songstress, and more importantly, the life giver. Dr. Simone, it is to you. And with that being said, thank you for watching. We say peace, and we out.